In New York City, 1989, a woman named Maya Babanikos is shouting at her husband, Detective John Shaft. She claims Shaft is reckless and always puts them in danger, and Shaft is visibly exhausted by her constant complaints. He looks in the rearview mirror and spots a car pulling up. Two men step out and slowly approach Shaft's car. Shaft sweet-talks his wife, and when she calms down, he tells her to bend over. Thinking he has something naughty in mind, she loses her temper again, only to finally listen when the men open fire on them. Shaft gets out and takes care of business. He returns to the car, and his wife tells him she can't stay with him anymore, claiming his job brings danger wherever he goes. Shaft tries to reason with her, but she reminds him that their son was in the back seat during the shootout. Their son's name is John Shaft Jr., or JJ for short. Shaft understands and lets them go. Years pass, and JJ grows up without his father, only receiving birthday and holiday gifts from him. Meanwhile, Shaft continues working as a detective, taking down bad guys. In the present day, JJ is all grown up and works at FBI headquarters as a data analyst. He has a soft, nerdy personality. At work, he gets a call from his best friend, Kareem Hassan, who says he's back in town and wants to hang out. He tells JJ that Sasha will be coming too, and JJ remarks on how beautiful she must look. Sasha is a doctor. Kareem teases him and says he'll pass the message on to her. As they talk, JJ's boss, Special Agent Vietti, enters and calls JJ to a conference meeting. At the meeting, Vietti briefs the team on the need for increased surveillance on a mosque they believe may be dangerous, specifically, a man named Imam Farid Bahar. The FBI suspects him because of his frequent trips to Afghanistan. Vietti asks who wants to lead the case, and JJ volunteers, but Vietti refuses. He says JJ is underqualified, calls him a rookie, and tells him to know his place. After work, JJ heads to a bar. The bartender sees his FBI badge and tries to flirt with him, but his awkward personality takes over, and he begins nervously rambling, causing her to lose interest and walk away. Kareem walks in on JJ taking the L and cheers him up, saying he brought Sasha with him. At the table, the trio catches up. They've known each other since childhood. Kareem talks about his new business and says he'll be leaving soon for it. JJ asks what it's about, and Kareem says it's called Brothers Watching Brothers, a program he and his army buddies started to help veterans returning from war and struggling with drug addiction. He adds that he wants to tell JJ something but gets a message saying, "We gotta meet." He excuses himself and leaves. JJ runs after him, asking if everything's okay. He says he wanted to tell him something, but Kareem brushes it off. He thanks JJ for being a good friend, hugs him, and tells him to go enjoy his night. The next morning, JJ wakes up to a phone call from his mom. She tells him Kareem has passed away. After the funeral, Sasha tells JJ the police found Kareem's body with drugs. JJ thinks there's a mistake. Kareem had been clean for a while and often came to Sasha for checkups. She encourages him to look into it, since he works for the FBI. JJ returns to the office and hacks into the police archives to retrieve Kareem's death report. He sees photos of Kareem lying on the floor with a syringe next to him. After gathering all the evidence, he visits the crime scene and meets a kid who mocks his outfit, saying he looks more like a barista than an FBI agent. The kid sees the photo of Kareem on JJ's phone and says he knows him, but wants money for information. Once paid, the kid says he used to see Kareem talking with a man named Manuel Orozco, or Manny, who runs the area. JJ goes to the building where Manny hangs out and realizes it's a drug house. He finds Manny, who surrounds JJ with his goons and tries to intimidate him. JJ shows him a picture of Kareem but senses danger. He tries to leave but is knocked out by one of Manny's men. At the hospital, Sasha treats JJ's wounds. He tells her about his investigation so far and shows her the police report, saying maybe Kareem really did overdose. Sasha reads it and immediately says something's wrong. The concentration of drugs was far too high, and there's no way Kareem would have done that to himself. Now more determined, JJ decides to confront Manny again. Sasha urges him to bring the police, but JJ says Manny won't talk to them. She asks, if he won't talk to you or the police, then who will he talk to? That gives JJ an idea. JJ goes to an apartment building and knocks on a door. A woman answers, and JJ stumbles on his words before saying he's looking for Shaft. Shaft pulls a gun on him from behind and demands to know who he is. JJ says he's his son. Shaft is shocked. After the woman leaves, Shaft talks with JJ and offers him a drink, but JJ is still holding a grudge for being abandoned for 25 years. Shaft explains it's more complicated than that. He sent gifts every birthday. JJ brings up the time he got a box of condoms, and Shaft reminds him he also sent 3 V-Box gift cards and $500 cash. JJ looks confused, and Shaft laughs, saying his mom must have taken that for herself. JJ shifts the topic and tells his dad he needs help solving a case. He gives Shaft Kareem's medical report and explains the police ruled it an overdose, but the dose was enough to kill 3 people. He also mentions the street where Kareem's body was found, which catches Shaft's interest. He agrees to help, suspecting this case may lead him to someone named Gordito. Shaft notices a bruise on JJ's face and asks who did it. JJ says it was one of Manny's goons. They head back to Manny's place, and Shaft knocks down both of Manny's goons, shooting one of them. He then tells his son to whoop the other guy's ass, but JJ says he doesn't like violence, so Shaft shoots the other guy himself. Manny walks in on Shaft and JJ handling business, and when Shaft asks why he struck his son when he came to make inquiries earlier, Manny realizes he messed up and starts running. Shaft shoots a truck, which crashes into Manny's path, causing him to collide with it. As Manny moans in pain, Shaft and JJ approach, with Shaft breaking his fingers and JJ asking again what his connection with Kareem was. Manny says he stopped meeting with Kareem after he joined Brothers Watching Brothers. JJ explains what the program is, and they set out to visit the rehab center. As they drive to the location, JJ lists all the violent ways Shaft interrogates his suspects, but Shaft doesn't care. JJ decides he wants to continue the investigation on his own, but Shaft disagrees, saying he'll have to babysit JJ since he's too afraid to even hold a gun. They arrive at the rehab center and meet the leader of the program, Major Gary Cutworth, aka Cuddy, and his two trusted associates, Sergeant Keith Williams and Sergeant Eddie Dominguez. They talk, and Cuddy mentions that Kareem had been dedicated and hardworking, even helping out a lot in the program. But eventually, he stopped coming as much after he found religion and a girl. When JJ asks about the religion, Cuddy says it's the Rashad Mosque, the same mosque the FBI has been keeping its eyes on. Sergeant Eddie Dominguez gets uncomfortable with the conversation, and the two detectives leave. As they drive, Shaft says Sergeant Dominguez looked fishy and wasn't making eye contact. But JJ says he's more concerned about the girl Kareem was seeing at the mosque. They take a detour to a club, and Shaft suggests they relax and blow off some steam. He says JJ is too uptight and wants him to loosen up. JJ just wants to go home, but his father convinces him to stay at the nightclub. JJ is introduced to two party girls, Baby and Sugar. The two of them are surprised to find out Shaft has a son. JJ gets drunk with the girls while Shaft goes to talk to his informant buddy, Freddie. He asks Freddie if he can find out some information about Sergeant Eddie Dominguez, saying he didn't like how the guy acted when they met. Their conversation is interrupted when Shaft notices JJ getting into a fight with another guy. Luckily, JJ knows capoeira, a Brazilian art form that combines elements of martial arts and dance. He wins the fight pretty easily, and everyone is both impressed and surprised, including his father. However, he ruins the moment by puking on both Baby and Sugar. Shaft takes his drunk son home and tucks him into bed. The next day, JJ is feeling the effects of the hangover from the night before. They arrive at the mosque and meet Sasha, who decided to join them. JJ introduces Sasha to his dad, but she is not pleased to meet him, stating that he abandoned his son for 25 years. Shaft manages to smooth things over after Sasha asks what happened to JJ. Shaft says JJ took him to the club on a Tuesday and was going all out, even kicked the guy's ass. Inside the mosque, they come across Kareem's girl, NM. NM tells them about their relationship and says Kareem was also helping build a youth center nearby. She gets interrupted by her father, Imam Farik Bahar, the same man the FBI is concerned about. When Farik discovers that JJ is with the FBI, he orders them all to leave. Outside, Sasha decides to go back to work and tells JJ to text her if anything happens. JJ starts stumbling over his words again until his dad saves him from embarrassing himself. Shaft tells his son to just invite Sasha to dinner and stop with the endless texting. Sasha smiles and says dinner is a great idea before leaving. They walk to the car, and Shaft tells his son he has to stop being afraid to talk to women. He explains that girls want a man who is confident and sure of himself. They get into the car, and JJ receives a call from his mother. She says she'll be coming into town to visit and asks how he's doing. Shaft warns JJ not to tell her that he's hanging out with him, so JJ simply tells his mom that he's fine and just spending time with Sasha. She says it's good to have someone to rely on, especially after Kareem's passing, and mentions she's visiting because she has a date. After the call, Shaft asks how many men JJ's mom has been with. JJ says 10. Shaft laughs and says, then it's nothing serious. Back at Shaft's place, JJ hacks into some encrypted files related to the mosque and discovers a huge transaction sent to the mosque by a simple store manager. He sees it as another clue. While sharing the information with his dad, JJ gets a call from his boss and learns he's been suspended for taking on a case he was ordered to drop and for skipping work. Later, the duo arrive at the store. Shaft kicks the door open. JJ, trying to be polite, attempts to apologize but gets punched so hard he hits the floor. Shaft pulls out his gun and interrogates the woman inside, also known as Benny. She insists she was just donating money to the mosque and that nothing illegal is going on. Shaft doesn't believe her. He says he's seen her before, though Benny denies it. Back at the investigation office, Shaft pulls out a picture of Benny standing next to a man named Gordito, the head of the biggest gang in Harlem. This leads JJ to suspect that the supermarket is a front for Gordito's money laundering operation. He also believes Farik takes frequent trips to Afghanistan to bring in supplies. JJ suspects Kareem found out about this and was killed before he could expose it. He then reveals he planted a microcamera on Benny's desk to monitor her. They decide to take the night off, and JJ mentions that he has a dinner date with Sasha and goes to get ready. Meanwhile, Maya, JJ's mom, arrives at her date and meets a man named Ron. As they talk, Maya hears Shaft's voice from across the room and turns to see him enjoying himself with two women. She excuses herself to use the restroom, trying to avoid him, but Shaft spots her and calls her out. She reacts coldly and walks off. When she returns, she finds Shaft talking to Ron and angrily tells him to leave. As the tension builds, Shaft notices some shady men enter the restaurant and pulls Maya close. Surprisingly, this excites her. He tells her to duck, and the goons open fire. Maya screams while Shaft laughs, calling it a spicy reunion. After neutralizing the attackers, Shaft returns to Maya, who remarks that this chaos is exactly why she and JJ had to leave him. At the mention of JJ, Shaft becomes worried and rushes off in Ron's car, sensing that his son might be in danger. At JJ's date with Sasha, they talk about old times and how much they miss Kareem. The conversation shifts to JJ's dad, and JJ says Shaft isn't all that bad, he's funny, helpful with the case, but JJ still hasn't fully forgiven him. Suddenly, some shady men walk in and start shooting. JJ and Sasha hide. When Sasha draws her gun to return fire, JJ takes it and steps up. He fires at the attackers and impresses Sasha, who's visibly turned on. After the shootout, JJ finds one of the gunmen's phones buzzing and answers a call from an unknown number. Benny picks up, confirming his suspicions. Shaft, Maya, and Ron arrive at the scene. JJ explains that Benny ordered the hit. He tells his dad they need to go bring her in, but Shaft looks at Maya and recalls an old promise. He declines and tells JJ to take the evidence to the police, then walks away. Later, the FBI raids the mosque and arrests Farid Bahar, but further investigation reveals no wrongdoing. This sparks media backlash, and the public accuses the FBI of religious discrimination. Enraged, JJ's boss fires him and tells him to leave his badge and ID on the desk. Meanwhile, Shaft speaks with Freddy again, who reveals that Sergeant Eddie Dominguez is actually Benny's cousin. Shaft hopes this will be the final piece of the puzzle so he can send JJ back to Maya. JJ overhears and is heartbroken. He accuses Shaft of using him all along to solve his own case and questions if he ever truly cared about Kareem's death. They argue, and JJ says Shaft had a choice between being a dad or being Shaft, and he chose to be Shaft. JJ walks away angry. Later, Shaft visits Maya's house and does something he never does. He apologizes for putting her and JJ in danger. Maya opens the door, and they talk. She says she spent all this time trying to keep JJ away from danger, but in the end, he turned out to be a Shaft after all. She asks Shaft to protect their son, and he promises he will. He then ruins the moment by trying to get naughty with Maya. Later, JJ and Sasha head to the rehab facility. JJ explains that the group is smuggling drugs into the country using damaged military vehicles. Sasha offers to go inside with him, but JJ asks her to stay outside and act as his lookout. He tries to kiss her but chickens out and runs off, like you do every time you see your crush. Inside, JJ uncovers crates filled with white powder and takes pictures. He then overhears Cuddy, Sergeant Keith Williams, and Sergeant Eddie Dominguez talking. Eddie wants to shut the operation down, fearing that Shaft is closing in on them. Cuddy reminds him that Kareem also got cold feet, and that's what got him killed. When Eddie refuses to comply, Cuddy shoots him. JJ records everything but makes a noise as he tries to sneak away. Keith and Cuddy hear it and open fire. JJ escapes the building but is stopped when Cuddy emerges, holding Sasha at gunpoint. He demands JJ hand over his phone. Just as JJ is about to comply, Shaft crashes in with his car, triggering a shootout. JJ jumps into the car, but Keith fires at them. Eventually, Keith enters the car and escapes with Sasha and Cuddy. JJ asks his dad why he's here. Wasn't he supposed to be chasing Gordito? Shaft finally explains that Gordito is the reason their family fell apart. Ever since the day their car was shot at, he's been trying to free them from that life. He says family always comes first. JJ explains everything and says they can trace Sasha's phone to locate her. Shaft says they'll need more firepower, so they go to visit someone. When they arrive, Shaft jokes that the guy still hasn't learned to lock his door, then a gun is pulled on them. The man asks who they are, and Shaft says, "It's me, your son." JJ is shocked to learn he has a grandfather, John Shaft Sr. They hug and reunite. Shaft says they need weapons to save JJ's girl and take down Gordito. Shaft opens his father's closet, revealing an arsenal of weapons. JJ's jaw drops at the collection. After gearing up, they prepare to leave. Grandpa decides to join the mission, saying life's been too boring and he misses the action. They arrive at Gordito's building. JJ hacks the camera feed to make it look like they're not in the elevator, but the Wi-Fi disconnects, and they're discovered. The guards open fire as the elevator doors open, accidentally killing their own teammate. As they investigate the room, the trio burst in through the glass and a massive shootout begins. JJ runs to rescue Sasha and fights Cuddy. He tries using his capoeira skills, but they're ineffective. As Cuddy gains the upper hand, JJ stabs him in the leg and finishes him off. The group reunites, but their celebration is short-lived. Gordito enters and aims his gun at JJ. He reveals that 25 years ago, he sent his men to kill JJ, not Shaft. He opens fire, but Shaft dives in and takes the bullet for his son. Then he turns and shoots Gordito multiple times, sending him crashing through a window to his death. Shaft faints from blood loss. A few days later, Shaft wakes up in the hospital and jokes when he sees his father, saying death has come for him. JJ walks in and tells him Benny was arrested for money laundering. He thanks his dad for taking the bullet for him. Sasha enters and thanks Shaft too, giving him a kiss on the cheek. As she leaves, JJ calls out to her. They laugh like kids until Grandpa yells, "Just kiss her already." And he does. JJ returns to his workplace, looking sharp. His boss congratulates him and calls him his favorite data analyst and field detective. He offers JJ his badge and ID back, but JJ declines, saying he no longer works for the man. Outside, JJ meets up with his dad and grandfather. He asks, "What's next?" Grandpa mentions a possible secret kidnapping ring, and the trio walks off in style, like three black James Bonds, bringing the movie to a close. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more interesting movies like this. See you in the next one.